If there's one thing Americans have learned over the past 2 years, it's that we have to take personal responsibility for our spending. The government has certainly helped level the playing field with provisions put in place by the Credit Card Act of 2009. But now each one of us has to make smart choices going forward about how we logistically plan to pay for the day-to-day items we truly need. So here to give us the 5 reasons she prefers using charge cards over debit and credit cards is personal finance expert Manisha Thakor. Hello, Manisha, great to see you again.
Great to see you, Tanya.
Okay, so before we get into why you like charge cards better than debit or credit cards, can you explain to our viewers what a charge card is and where you can get them?
Absolutely. A charge card is a piece of plastic, looks like a debit card, looks like a credit card, but it has a very important provision attached to it, which is at the end of the month, you must pay off the entire balance in full.
And so where do you get them?
It's kind of like a hybrid.
And you can get them from any bank?
Well, the most common one, of course, is American Express. That was kind of the classic charge card. And what prompted me to want to talk about this, because I realized what was in my wallet were charge cards, and it wasn't something I was talking about. But if you go to bankrate.com, you can take a look and see what kind of offerings multiple institutions have in the charge category.
All right, and most banks offer one version of the charge card, or not necessarily?
Well, I would say by far and away the big leader in this area really is American Express.
All right. So now let's move on to why you prefer charge cards. First, because charge cards force you to use plastic in the best possible way, which is, of course, paying it off very soon after you buy it, right?
Right. I mean, we've talked about this before, Tanya, but it fascinates me how plastic, which again is my generic term for debit cards, credit cards, or charge cards, plastic can really be your friend or your foe depending upon how you use it. And right now, especially with the Credit Card Act, we've been focusing on the faux part, but they really can be your friend. A classic way is in helping to manage intra-month cash flow situations. And that's one of the reasons why I love charge cards, because they help you avoid the negative parts like carrying balances, but help you with the positive parts of plastic, like managing that intra-month cash flow.
Right, and another positive thing that a charge card can do for you is they help you build up your credit score. Right?
And this one, Tanya, is huge. So we've talked about it before, but just for anyone who hasn't heard us dialoguing on this, a credit score is a 3-digit number, summarizes your financial reputation, higher is better, and it is derived from a reality TV camera you could think about being pointed at your wallet 24/7. The problem is the camera doesn't record all transactions, and if you pay with cash or with a debit card, that transaction is not getting recorded as you build out your credit score. And the credit score is so important because it can influence everything from whether a landlord will rent to you to how much you'll pay for a mortgage or car loan.
But Manisha, you can also build credit with a credit card. Most of us are aware of that. Is there any difference in the rate? I mean, is it faster to build credit with a charge card versus a credit card? Is it exactly the same?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tanya. There's no difference in the impact that you would get using a charge card versus a credit card in terms of building up your credit score. If you're using them both responsibly and paying your bills on time. But with a charge card on the margin, you've got one less trigger that you can pull to shoot yourself in the foot with.
Absolutely. All right. Now, the third reason you like charge cards is that they give you some extra protection. Now, is this more protection than a typical credit card would give you?
And again, one of the problems about so the short answer is yes. One of the caveats I want to put out there is it's hard to talk about debit cards or credit cards or charge cards in aggregate because it's like talking about people in aggregate. Each institution will have its own nuances, but in general, one of the things that I have found with charge cards that I think is really important to highlight is that they often offer additional protections in exchange for an annual fee, such as extended warranties on things that you buy, insurance on rental cars that you rent using that card, and dispute resolution. And those things can be really helpful.
Absolutely. Now, another reason why you like charge cards is that they don't levy interest or finance charges. Now, I'm assuming this is because you pay it off at the end of every month, so there's nothing to, there's nothing to finance.
Precisely, and at risk of beating a dead horse, one of the things that I really feel strongly about getting this message out is the Credit Card Act of 2009 has done some wonderful things to help protect consumers. But even so, if you are paying interest month after month on a balance that is accruing, essentially, even at a mid-teens rate, Tanya, you're still doubling the purchase price of whatever you put on that credit card. So again, on the margin, that's why I like charge cards, because you can't do that. They won't let you carry that balance.
Fair enough, Manisha, but let's say you find yourself at the end of the month and you simply cannot pay off your bill to your charge card. What happens then?
Right. Well, then you run into, you need to call the company, talk to them, see what you can work out. Sometimes they may then turn into an arrangement where you can pay interest, and then you end up in a certain kind of situation where you're more like a credit card. If it's really bad, it could end up in collections.
Right.
But again, hopefully
that doesn't happen.
You're following the good rules. Yes.
Now, Manisha, they also give you, charge cards will give you the same kind of rewards as certain credit cards. Is that right?
Yeah, another thing I like about charge cards is, and again, this is, I don't want to highlight any specific company, and I'm speaking in generalities, but generally speaking, what I have found with charge cards is that not only do they tend to have membership reward programs that they offer, but that they tend not to have expiration or blackout dates to the same level that I have found with credit cards.